I hope you guys are having a good PD day. Thanks for the thumbs up, Amy. So thank you guys for joining today for Notebook LM. So how would I explain Notebook LM? So Notebook LM, if you think about the word notebook, you think about a big binder. So if you ever watch Parks and Rec, I was a big Parks and Rec fan. I was a big Parks and Rec fan, and Leslie Knope was one of the characters, and she always had these binders filled with stuff, and she was so proud of her binders. And that is what notebook is. A notebook, that's part of that definition, is you put your own sources into this notebook, this website. And then the LM is large language model, which we think about when we hear AI, is they're trained on large language models. But they took one of the L's out, so it's a language model, but it's based only on the sources that you upload. So it's not pulling anything from the web. It's just pulling from the sources that you put into Notebook LM. And I'm going to show you a bunch of examples that I've used also as we go through. So how do you get to Notebook LM? I will send out this presentation, but you can, let's see, what is the website? I think it's notebooklm.google.com. So notebooklm.google.com, or you can just search Notebook LM. And you upload up to 50 sources. So you could upload PDFs, website URLs, YouTube videos, audio files, Google Docs, or Google Slides. Or you can just cut and paste text. So you can cut and paste text. So there was once I tried to attach a YouTube video about the new CCWMR part of I made a notebook about CCWMR, and this YouTube video, it kept getting blocked. So I just went to the transcript and I cut and pasted the transcript from that video into the Notebook LM. So you can just cut and paste text. It's also multilingual, so you can upload sources from over 50 supported language, including a combination of different languages, and then generate the content in any of those languages. Then once you have your sources, so you put your sources in here, then there's a chat area where you can ask the sources questions. So that's where the magic happens. So it's like you're training your own AI. And then there's a studio portion where you can create different things based on your information. So let's go here. So this is what it looks like. You give your notebook a name. You add your sources. This is new, this discover option. So you click discover, you type in whatever you're interested. So maybe you're interested in photography. You want to learn more about photography, or maybe you're teaching a photography class. Then Google searches the web and looks for resources for you. And then you check the ones that you want, and then you can interact with those sources. So that's this side, that's the sources. And then this middle part is the chat. So this is where you ask questions of the sources that you have added. And then over here, the studio is where the magic happens, because you can create audio overviews, a video overview, a mind map, different reports, flashcards, quizzes, all in your Notebook LM. And then you can share. So you could share, and we'll talk later about how to share and what that looks like. So here are my notebook examples. So I'm going to go over here. So I'll show you this one first. And this is a very simple one just for me. I'm not going to, well, I could share this. I could share it out. So I went to the WLS hub that we have, and I put all of the staff directories. So I've got the overall PDF of the staff directory. Where's that one? Here it is. Their district directory. So that's in the hub. It's a PDF. It's got everyone in the district, their phone number, their address, everything. And then I also put in each building's directory. So if I type, what is uh, Kelly White's room number? So right here, the room number for Kelly Wright is B204. She's grade 4 at Shoreland. So as someone that is all over the district, this is awesome for me. So this is just trained on all the stuff I put in. I could also type, because I live in White House, I could type who are all the teachers that live in White House, and it will give a list. I could say who are all the grade 1 teachers, put it in a table, and add their extension and their home building. So just sort of showing you a real simple example. Just this helps me because I'm constantly trying to figure out where people are, what their extensions are. And this is a beautiful thing. The other notebook that I created was for the second AI in 30 was on prompting. So I put the prompting, I was bebopping between two presentations. So I put both presentations in here on AI prompting. And then I put some actual prompts that I had, examples of prompts. And then I had another presentation from another tech integration specialist. And then this PDF guide from Google. So I've got all this right away. It gives a summary of what the sources are, and then I can start interacting. Give me an example of a really bad prompt. Give me an example of a really good prompt. Here's a prompt that I'm working on. How can I improve it? So those are two examples. And then in the presentation, so this is a 8-week unit on physics. So this teacher uploaded all of their information from their unit on physics. So with this example of the foundation of physics, so the teacher could type in what concepts introduced in week 7. So we've got week 7 in here, should be reviewed or reinforced to help students better understand week 8. And then here is based on the provided sources to help students better understand, da, 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 da. And then it answers it. And see the little circle? They will bring you back to the source. So where they got this information. So I could click on that and then it would open up that source in a little baby window and I could see where it's pulling it. And then you could even follow up, create a short review activity I can use before starting week 8. And then if you like, or you think that's something that you want to save, there is an option where you click to pin that, and then you save that chat. Otherwise, if you hit refresh, the chat just disappears. Now let's look at the studio, which is just insane. And you can generate a mind map just with the click of a button. And what this does is it creates a visual overview connecting the key concept themes that you've uploaded. Remember, it's only trained on whatever information you upload. So let's go, and I'm going to go into prompting for success. So let's see, where is my mind map? Okay, so I can tell that this is the mind map because of that little icon. It matches the icon up here. So I'm going to click on the mind map just so you can see what it looks like. So it opens it up in this window and it breaks it into 4 sections. So we've got role-specific examples for prompting, Gemini use cases, strategies, and then the core principles. Now to interact with this, I can zoom in or zoom out. And then when I click this little arrow, it opens up and then I can move this around. And I've got the parts framework, top 10 prompt components, other frameworks, and then I could click that, open it up. Look how cool that is. And it's got the parts framework. If I want to download this, I can. Just know it takes a picture of whatever you have expanded. So just keep that in mind because I downloaded one where I had everything expanded and it was really hard to read. So this is more of an interactive thing where you just go in or your students would go in and they could play around with that. All right, so I'm done with that. And then to get back to the studio, if you notice, this is the breadcrumb trail up here. So studio, but I'm in the mind map. So to get back, I can just go to that close mind map view. So that is mind map. All you have to do is just click that button and then it's generating a mind map. It takes a little bit of time. So maybe go check your email and then come back and you've got a mind map. So, and in here, this shows, just some when to use a mind map. And then, okay, now you can quickly generate a study guide based on your information. So let's go back to prompting. I'm going to move this over because I keep going back into it. Study guides. Let me show you where they are. If you use NotebookLM, there used to be a button that was called study guides. Now it is in the reports section. So this little tan, light brown color. So if you click on that, we've got study guides right here. But let's take a look at the other things that we have. You can create your own report. So you can click on that and put the guidelines that you want for your report. You could just do a briefing document, a study guide, which we'll play with in a minute. You could create a blog post, a lesson plan, an article, a memo, or a training manual. Notice there's this little pencil right here. Whenever you see that pencil, you want to click on it and just see what's behind there. So let's look at the study guide. And I'm going to click on the pencil. I could choose the language. And then I could describe the report that I wanted to create. So this report is the study guide report. So right now, the default, if you just click it and have it create a study guide, boop, it would just do it. But know that this is what it's creating. So it's creating, once again, this is a great prompt. Whenever you're making a prompt, you want to give the AI the persona. Who are they? So right here, you are a highly capable research assistant and tutor. Create a detailed study guide designed to review understanding of the sources, which these are my sources. Create a quiz with 10 short answers. Now, if you didn't want 10, you could change that. This is editable. I could change it to 5. 5 short answer questions, 2 to 3 sentences each. Answer key. Thank you. I love an answer key. And then 5 essay format questions. So maybe I just want 2. Whoop, if I can type. 2 essays, but do not supply answers. Ooh, I want answers. And supply sample essay responses. Also conclude with a comprehensive glossary of key terms with definitions. And then I just click generate. And it's generating, but I have one right here. So study guide. So I'm going to click on this just so you can see what it looks like. I could show the prompt. So that customization. So if you forgot, like, was this the one that had the 5 or the 4 or the 10 questions? You could show the prompt. So right here, this was the one. So I did 5, 5 essay questions. I could copy this content and then paste it into a Google Doc, or I could delete it. So here is the short answer part. So you've got what is the parts framework and what is its purpose. And then right down here in the answer key, you've got persona, act, recipient, theme, and structure. And then down here are the essay questions. And I've got my glossary of terms. Pretty stinking amazing. And that was based on all of my sources. So let's say I just want a study guide for week 1. So if this was like week 1 of prompting for success and week 2 for prompting for success, because I've got my entire unit in NotebookLM, I could just do, all right, I want a study guide for week 1. And then I would go back to the studio, go to reports, study guide, and it's going to see how it says based on one source. So it is just going to focus on that source. All right, let's see. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing great. Okay, quickly generate a study guide and then more reports options. So I just put this in the presentation and then you could save it. Anything like this, the briefing document that you um, create, it automatically saves. But like, let me go back to Washington Local. So I asked this question, what's the room number for Kelly? If I want to save this, because I always like to go visit Kelly, I could click Save to Note, and then it's going to save it right here. All right, now it gets just crazy cool. So you can listen and learn on the go with audio overviews. So an audio overview turns your sources into podcast style summaries. It's voiced by 2 hosts and they talk back and forth. It's really amazing. And you could just click it and go and listen. But when you click on the little pencil, when you create an audio overview, you have different options. You normally, this is the default, the deep dive is the default. You could also do a brief. So if I selected brief, it would do that. Critique is an expert review of your sources, offering constructive feedback to help you improve your material. So, and then debate. Debate is really cool because it's between the 2 hosts. So I did that for the prompting for success. And they basically went back and forth. And it was really interesting. They're like, you know what? If I have to think about how to design a prompt, I'm not really going to want to play around with AI. And then the other person, was like, oh, but if you do a really good prompt, you're going to get better results. So it was really cool going back and forth. You can once again choose your language. You can make it shorter or longer. Default is usually what I do. And then here's the magic sauce. You could customize what the AI host focuses on in that episode. So I want to share, how to generate. I'll show you guys how to generate. All right, so let me go to prompting for success. I'm going to move this over. And audio overview has that little icon. And okay, so there's the debate one. I'm not going to do the debate one. Oh, this is a good one. Okay. It's based on 7 sources. Once again, you could just select week 1 and do an audio overview of week 1. I had all of it. And then right here is interactive mode. That allows you to stop the host when they're talking and ask a question. If I just click play, it just plays the audio overview. And then the skinny snowman, I could rename it, download it. It downloads it as an MP3. I could share just the audio overview, or I could delete it. So let's go into interactive mode. So I'm going to click this, and I hope that I shared the sound. I think I did when I shared my screen. So we'll see. All right. I'm going to click the play.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're doing more than just glancing at AI tools. We are moving past those simple, ineffective copy-paste interactions. We're really jumping into the deep end of professional prompt engineering.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Our mission is critical, really. We need to understand the fundamental anatomy of a truly great prompt so you can stop getting those generic results and start getting tailored, high-quality, professional outputs every single.
Oh, okay. So I paused him. So when I click join, I can ask a question. Here we go. I'm going to
That
play.
is the essential shift. Absolutely. And
Oh, hey, I think our listeners got something to say.
Can you give me an example of a good prompt and a bad prompt?
Absolutely. That's what we were just about to do.
that's a perfect question for this moment. We can show you the contrast right now.
If you look at the raw data, we see people often use vague requests.
A bad prompt, as we call it, is super short, like less than 9 words, typically.
For example, an ineffective prompt would be something like, give me some lesson ideas for ninth grade biology.
That's our classic example of a simple or bad prompt. It's vague, and the topic is too broad.
It has no clarity on the instructional goals. It just gives you generic results.
Right. And those vague requests usually get a vague answer back.
But a good prompt, a professional one averages around 21 words.
It includes what we call relevant context baked in.
It has to have that context. It's the key that unlocks the value.
So we can improve that simple biology prompt in 2 stages.
We can make it better first.
A better prompt might be, suggest 3 activities to teach ninth graders about DNA.
Okay, that's an improvement because it narrows the focus to DNA.
But it still lacks detail on the instructional design style or the classroom format.
That's where the best prompt, the truly good one, comes in.
The best prompt defines a role for the AI to play.
It defines a specialized role, like act as an instructional designer.
And it clearly outlines the audience and the specific learning objective.
All right. So that is the audio overview in that debate, or not the debate mode, but in that mode where you can ask a question. So pretty insane. And then I did do one on, oh, here's the prompt engineering showdown, and that was the debate. So that's the debate one. Now, the debate does not have that interactive component, so you can't interrupt them while they're debating. So you just have to listen to them go back and forth and debate. So that is audio overviews. The way that you do that is let me go back here. You could just click audio overview, and if you just click that button, it's just going to create it right away. If you click the pencil, that will allow you to customize the audio overview. So that's how you get to that screen in the presentation. So the deep dive is the default. You could go to brief, a bite-sized overview, and then the debate. Or like right here, what should the AI host focus on? So here's one, create an audio overview of vocabulary and key takeaways from week 5. Make it friendly for students who need extra time with the content and include definitions and key terms. So that's an example of what you would type in that customized field. And here's another one, break down key concepts step by step, define terms explicitly and use simple, accessible language. And then there's other options here too. You can also turn your sources into engaging video overviews. Yeah, it's crazy. So here's an example of a video overview that I did on the prompting for success.
Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about a super simple secret to getting truly amazing results from artificial intelligence, especially for your classroom.
So
Let's jump right in.
You've totally been there, right? You ask for a lesson plan, maybe a worksheet idea, and what you get back is,
Now I'm going to
well,
zoom
it's
this
fine.
up just so
It's
you can
okay,
see
but
it.
it's not
I'm
great.
gonna put
It doesn't have that creative spark you need for your students.
Let's do it at
It's a really
1.7.
common frustration. But here's the thing, the fix is way easier than you think. So get this, someone actually looked into this, and it turns out the average prompt most of us write is only about 9 words long. Just think about it. Make a worksheet about fractions. Yep, that's pretty much 9 words. But, and this is the important part, the most effective prompts, the ones that get those mind-blowing results, they average around 21 words. That is more than double. And that together, piece by piece, and you'll see how each part adds another layer of detail and creativity to what we're
I'm
asking
just
for.
going to skip
With a
through
verb.
just so you can
Number 3 is
see.
context. Okay, this is where you add all the juicy details. Who is this for? What are the important constraints? What specific book or topic are you working with? This is your chance to give all that. You are literally getting a classroom activity that's ready to go. Specifying the format saves you a ton of time
Put it
and
back
gives you
in
something
the
you can
hall.
actually use tomorrow.
Pause it. So that's an example of a video overview. But what was it, last week? Yes, it was just last week when I was doing the AI in 30 Zoom meeting with some teachers that they updated the video overviews. Now they have a ton of different themes that you can choose from, and it's so stinking cool. So let's see. Let me go back. Let me go to the Washington local. So a district's blueprint. So here's video overview. So if I just click and I don't customize it, I'm just going to get that generic one that like the one that we just saw, which is fine. I mean, it was pretty good. But if I click that pencil, I can now pick the format. I can make it a brief overview or the explainer. I can choose the language once again. And now I have all of these different sizes. Or styles, sorry. Now I have all of these different styles. I have a whiteboard style. Oh, this one's new. Oh my gosh, they keep coming up with different styles. I love this so much. Okay. And then they have anime, they have watercolor, retro print, heritage, and then paper craft. Paper craft is this one that I did here, a district's blueprint. That's in the paper style, so I'll show you that. But I want to do this style right here. That looks super cute. And then I could, so I could say focus on how vital teachers are to our district. Do not use any personal information from the sources. Because it's got, everyone's phone number and address and everything. So I'm going to generate. Now, it does take a while to generate the video overview, but let me show you the district blueprint one here real quick. Can I make it bigger? Yep, I can make it bigger. So if
Have you ever really stopped to think about what it takes to run a school district? I mean, we see the teachers,
so this is that.
tree of knowledge.
So this is the, what was it called? Paper craft, I think it was called. So this is what the video overview came up with just with the district information.
Backbone, the people whose work makes everything else possible. It all starts with a foundation of safety and health. The custodial staff, I mean, they're like the silent guardians of the school, making sure every single hallway and classroom is a clean, welcoming space for learning. And then you've got the bus drivers. For so many kids, they're the first friendly face they see in the morning and the last.
So cute. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of that one. And let's go to prompting for success so I can show you the one. Oh, what's it? Oh, it's in the presentation.
Just think about it for a second. There's lesson planning, grading
This is
piles of
the
assignments,
anime theme.
trying to differentiate materials for every single student, writing those parent emails, creating worksheets from scratch, designing group projects, building out research reports. I mean, the list just goes on and on. It's this mountain of tasks that can make even the most passionate teacher feel totally buried.
Okay, but what if you had help? What if you had a partner that could help you tackle that mountain? That's exactly where we're headed next.
So let me skip through this a
creative
little bit just so
prompts.
you can see.
So check this out. Here's a really fascinating stat from Google.
So it's the same information. So it's very similar in content to the other video. It's just, I love these engaging graphics. And anime, I mean, who doesn't love anime? And I can click through. So here's role, task, context, format. This is all based on the prompting for success. And it's based on all, let me see, prompting for success. Video overview. So it's based on, here we go, prompt craft. I had all 7 sources. But like once again, you would have all of your information, all of your resources in your notebook, but then maybe you would just select one for like, or that example again of week 1, and you could create a video overview just of week 1. And once again, I can go over here to the skinny snowman and I can rename it, download it, and it downloads it as an MP4. I could share it or I could delete it. So that is video overviews, and I did have it that they are coming, but they are here. Here are some video overviews, just some way to customize the prompt or create a simple overview, video overview of the key concepts of the unit. So these just give you some ideas on how you could customize the video. The generic create a video is really great, but the secret sauce is if you go in there and pick specific resources that you really want it to focus on and then give it a customized prompt. That's where you go even deeper. Okay, so getting the most out of Notebook LM, you want to make sure that you use quality sources. Be specific. So when you're asking and you're chatting with your Notebook LM, that you are specific. Create good prompts and check the citations. So when you are in Notebook LM, so if I do, they always give sample prompts here. So if I just click that, okay, here we go. So oh, it's doing a lot of stuff. Okay. Right here, if I click on that 2 and I just hover over it, come on, there we go. This is showing me exactly where it is finding that answer to my question. If I just click on the number 2, it will bring up the entire presentation over here, and then I can look at it over here. I could pop it out also. So like here's number 6, but if I just want to see, okay, where did it get it? Okay, here it is. And then it will show that. So that's really nice. You can click save to note, and then you can rephrase your question if you don't get the answer you need the first time around. So if you're chatting and you get an answer that really isn't a good representation of what you need, don't just throw up your hands and walk away. Ask more questions, be more specific. Usually it's our prompt that that is the reason, is the reason why we're not getting what we want, is because we're not being specific enough. All right, so now let's talk about how you can share it with other teachers, how you can share a notebook with other teachers, and the integration with Google Classroom. So educators, we can create notebook LMs. You can share a notebook. So what you do is it's kind of hard to show in there. So let me go back to this prompting. Is right up here, you've got that share button, which we're used to with all of our Google products that we're used to using, like Google Slides and stuff. If I click on that, I can add people or groups. I can copy the link after I've done that, and then I can share it. Notice at the bottom, oh, why do you have editing access? Okay, sorry. Notice at the bottom, I don't have that option to anyone with the link can view. But like right here, I have WLS everyone. So that's WLS everyone is all of the educators in our district. So it's not the kids. But I could go in here, I could add Michelle Streeter, and then I could send that. Now, Michelle just has viewing access. She cannot edit any of the sources. She cannot add any sources. She cannot delete any of my sources. She cannot add anything to the studio, but she can view things in the studio that I've created. Now, if I wanted to share it and give Gabby editing access, what that means is she can add sources, she can create a video, she can do whatever she wants. So if you are sharing this with a colleague and you have your, solar system unit or whatever, and you could all put different sources in that unit. So you could share it with your teaching team and add more resources to that notebook. So that's how you can share it. One thing I did want to jump back and show you is, let me go into prompting for success. So I did want to show you, you can create a quiz and flashcards. So I just want to show you really quick what that looks like. All right, so prompting flashcards. Let me show you what this looks like. So right here, interactive in the parts framework for AI. What does the P stand for? What does it stand for? Persona. So then if I'm like, wait a minute, I don't remember that. I don't remember the persona. I can click explain and then it hops into the chat and it will explain why that answer is that answer. All right. So I can flip, and these are all AI created based on this says based on 7 sources. So that's, once again, you can, select what source you wanted. So that is flashcard. Once again, you could edit your flashcards. You could make them more difficult. You could make them easier. I just click, go ahead and make them. But you could definitely customize your flashcards. So that's flashcards. And quiz, I know I have a quiz. I know I have a quiz. Here we go. Prompting quiz. So you can see what this looks like. It has an interactive quiz. So in the parts framework for creating prompts, what does the S stand for? Ooh, I'm not so sure. Everything starts with an S. What is it? I could ask for a hint. Think about how you want, structure. Yay. And then I could go to the next one. It creates 12, but if you want to customize it, you could say 16 or whatever you want. Okay, sorry about that. That was a little detour, but I wanted to show you those two options. So in Google Classroom, you can now attach a notebook LM that you've already created. It does say that you can create a new one in Google Classroom, but that is not working. So that is not working. I'm sure they'll get it fixed. And actually, when I was in Google Classroom today, I got a little pop-up window asking how much I like the integration with Notebook LM. And I'm like, well, I wish I could create a new notebook. So I think they're on it. So let me go to Google Classroom and I will show you this. I know we're kind of running out of time. So this is my Google Classroom. And when you create, I'm going to do material. When you create material in Google Classroom, it does not show up in your grade book. So just keep that in mind. So that might be a great thing or that might be a bad thing. So material does not show up in the grade book. I'm going to click material. I'm just going to put test. And then right here, I've got Notebook LM. I click that. Create new. Should I try it? Should I try it? I'm going to try it. So I'm going to click assignments. So it's showing all of my, nope, I'm going to do classroom resources. So if I want to create a Notebook LM with just my class resources, or I could click that little shark tooth and I could just specifically choose which one. So maybe I don't want that test room magic. And then I could do all of the assignments, all of that. I could click create notebook and watch it work. Oh, it's working! Yay! That's awesome. I'm going to trash this notebook because it's not going to make any sense. That's awesome. So they fixed it. Fantastic. It looks like one thing is not coming in. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to jump back and see if it's actually, because I'm seeing a couple things are getting errors. All right. So the other option, which the option that I like, is you could select your existing notebooks that you have. So just click on My Notebooks. It shows all of the notebooks that you have. So I could do core AI article collection. So I have a notebook that I'm just throwing a bunch of AI articles in. And I'm going to attach the notebook. It's going to open up the notebook. So here's my AI article collection. You have the option to highlight at the top of the class. So if you click that, it will show up at the top of your class, just like it says. So if I go to classwork, now I have my class learning tools, I have my AI article collection, and then CCWMR, and then prompting for success. I can tell what student has opened them and which ones maybe need a little reminder. I can click on that and I can see Gabby has opened it, but I know Fabio has not opened it. So I could give them a little nudge. Now, it doesn't show how many times they've opened it. It's just the last time, because I know Gabby has looked at this a couple times, but it's just showing the last time that they opened it. And that's that highlight. And then posting to the classwork. So you can post it as an assignment. Just know if you do that, it will show up in your gradebook part of your Google Classroom. On the student use side, if you are using this in your class, you would definitely want to model what this looks like. I doubt if any of our students know what NotebookLM is, and just explaining how to, how to create a good prompt, how to interact with the study guide and take a look, because anything over here, anything in the studio, they will have access to. They cannot create anything new and they cannot mess with your documents. The only thing that they can do is if they wanted to focus on the 10th grade physics right here, they could unselect everything else, select that, and then interact with just that resource. Like I said, the customization is the key. So when you can set your notebook LM into learning guide, and what learning guide does, instead of just giving your students the answers, it's going to ask your students questions and guide them step by step to help them understand the material. So that's learning guide. So the default mode is you ask a question, it gives you the answer. So with my staff directory, I want it in default mode. I don't want it to question why I need to know Kelly's room number. But the learning guide, with this, what is the origin of the Cold War? It's going to ask you how, it's going to ask the student or you, if you want to put it in learning mode and learn more about a topic, how much do you know about this topic and what is your high level goal for learning about this topic? So why do you want to know about this topic? And then right here, I believe the Cold War was between the US and the Soviet Union, perhaps due to ideological differences. And then right here, since you're looking for a comprehensive overview, the sources read blah, blah, blah. So it's guiding them through the learning instead of just giving them the answer. So that's very cool. That's part of that customization of your chat area. The next one is you can create a custom style based on your learning or teaching goals. So for this example, explain concepts to me as if I were a fifth grader, provide examples, metaphors, or digestible analogies for easier comprehension. So right here, the student is asking what are the different units of a cell. So that's, it's got kind of cut off, but the student is asking what are the different units of a cell. So it's using the analogy of a cell as like a super tiny complicated city. And then down here, it's still taking that analogy throughout their entire answer. So like the membrane is like the city wall or the skin of the cell. And then, so that is how you can customize how your chat responds to your students. So use cases, so learning guide in the chat helps your students truly understand the material by changing the notebook, customizing the chat. You can configure the chat to create a style that will engage your students based on their interest. So going back up here, right here, you would click here, and then you've got learning guide or custom. And this is where you can respond at a PhD level. So, or pretend to be a role-playing game show host. All right, and that's it. That is Notebook LM. So I am going to stop sharing and stop recording. Stop recording. There we go.